Welcome to our podcast, Tune In with MPSCS. My name is Danielle Stewart. I am the Business Unit Manager. And in celebration of Michigan's Public Safety Communication System's 30th anniversary edition, we are fortunate to have you with us. So again, you are Adam Philpott with Indiana's Public Safety Commission. And thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So we're here today as part of the Interoperability Conference, and we were lucky to have you as a speaker today. Can you talk about a little bit what you presented on?
Yes, I'll keep it shorter than my 45-minute, but we had a celestial event last year, April 8th. We had the Total Solar Eclipse that came through, which brought a lot of challenges and things that we could learn from, and so I tried to package that into the greatest lesson that was learned is that with enough time and enough preparation, we can overcome massive obstacles. But it seems like those things that are fairly routine, severe weather, snowstorms, things like that, seem to cause us the biggest problem. And it shouldn't, because those are problems that we can anticipate, but we fail to plan for them. We continue to operate during those events like we would on a blue sky day. And so one of the things that I really tried to promote is this plan that I call it Swiss Army knife, this plan that is adaptable to those situations which we should be able to anticipate.
Absolutely. It was a great presentation, and we were very fortunate to have you with us today. Adam, do you want to give me a little bit of background on yourself and what it is that you do with Indiana?
Sure. So I have been with the Integrated Public Safety Commission, sort of the state of Indiana radio branch, for 5 years. Prior to that, I worked in full-time dispatch near Indianapolis, not in Indianapolis, but close enough. And I did that for 11 years, so I've had about 16 years full-time in public safety communications. I am a father. We've adopted 3 children from the state of Indiana foster care system.
That's lovely.
Yeah, that is quite actually that happened at the same time that I hired on at IPSC, which was also 2020. So it was a very eventful year.
Yes.
And also my job at IPSC is training and outreach. And then we immediately got locked down for COVID, so I couldn't train or outreach to anybody.
Yeah, you had to adapt and overcome for that time frame.
Yes, but so primarily my job is Central Indiana. I am the outreach person, so I'm constantly reaching out and coordinating with our local partners, law, fire, EMS, and then I provide training across the state. I'm our lead trainer, so constantly teaching courses over the system and planning and different things like that.
Well, you are in the right company, because that is part of what the business unit does here with MPSCS too. So as I mentioned, we are celebrating our 30th year anniversary, and you had already mentioned to me that you guys are in your 25th year anniversary as well. That's very exciting. Do you have any achievements or any accomplishments that you would like to share that Indiana has done in the last 25 years?
Over the span, I think, navigating a statewide system in general, implementing that, we have 182 sites. We have statewide coverage. It's not perfect. I think that's a bit of a myth, right? It's not 100% coverage everywhere, but we're present in every county. We have contacts with counties, and we have sort of a unique structure in that we don't have user fees, and user participation is completely voluntary, which is, pros and cons to that. But it allows us to provide service throughout the state and coordinate interoperability in a way that is, whether or not they use the system full time, we still have interoperability options. I think that is, in general, the accomplishment that I'm the most proud of is continuously providing ways for our first responders to be more safe and to help the public to be more safe. Absolutely.
I think that's a goal that probably all of us in statewide partners are trying to get to, is how can we improve the system and how can we continue to grow and move things forward. All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Regardless of what you have seen or heard, 911 cannot locate you immediately when calling from a cell phone. Knowing your location is very important when calling. This is as simple as knowing the address you're calling from, teaching address information to children, and knowing what street you are on while traveling. Know your location.
Welcome back. With us today is Adam Philpott from the state of Indiana. So Adam, our director is one who talks very highly about your guys' social media and your guys' outreach and your interaction with the public. Can you tell us a little bit about your guys' outreach program and social media or anything along those lines?
Yeah, so I think in general, I'm really proud of our team. We're a small team, 30 to 40 people that span the entire state. We have field services, which do a lot of technical maintenance and things to our sites through some of their training and education, try to keep everything running tip-top. We also have an office staff. We call it our IPSC Connection Center. It works like our dispatch center, our main contact hub, monitor the system. So if any of our partners out in the field, the police, fire, EMS, have any issues, they can call that number 24/7 and get a real live person that works with IPSC. We also have network, but then we have a subscriber services team, which I'm a part of, and we all work under our SWIC, Andy Bond, who is, I have to say it, a fantastic boss.
Yeah.
So if you can just have an Andy Bond on your team, you're going to be set up for success. But our team, one of the things that our team does in training and outreach is we continue to build relationships with our local partners. And sometimes that's difficult because the last person you want to talk to when things are going well are the radio people that remind you that sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And so we have that, and so we work to mostly just foster relationships so that if/when there is a problem that comes up, they know who to call. And that's a 24/7 job. Every day we're working to continue to build those relationships. A partner of mine, Javier, reminded me of a situation just this last week where we had a dispatch center that had some sort of an issue. So they reached out to their training and outreach coordinator, who then passed that up to field services, and we had a technician that was able to go out to the site and realize that it was a console that had not received maintenance in some time, and we're able to remedy that problem. So the way that we work together as a team, start to finish, is something I'm very proud of.
Right? That's great. And to see how the communication really works behind the scenes when we're in the business of communication is very important to make sure that it's effective and that we can produce those results and solutions for our local partners. So before we conclude, is there anything that you would like to share or add in regards to how we can strengthen our partnership state to state with us being neighbors with each other?
Yeah, so we know obviously that it seems like that imaginary line between Indiana and Michigan is a difficult one at times for communications. And I think just continuing to build the relationship between our two states and the coordination between our statewide interoperability coordinators and different comms people is going to help to bridge those. And sometimes the interoperability is complicated, but it's not impossible, and that takes coordination and training. And I think if we just continue to foster those relationships, I'm super grateful that you invited us up here to be able to attend and to be able to present, and it's just a good opportunity to strengthen those relationships.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the #1 solution.
Perfect. I agree with you, Adam, very much so. Thank you, Adam, for being here. We really appreciate you taking the time to sit with us and say a few words and share some conversation. So thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to Tune In with MPSCS. 30th Anniversary Edition. Be sure to look us up at www.michigan.gov/MPSCS, YouTube, SoundCloud, LinkedIn, and on Twitter at MPSCS. You can also subscribe to our podcast on iTunes so you never miss an episode. We will see you next time.